Alrighty, here we go. First ever solo podcast. Shout out MTV Jesse for the inspiration. Um, I actually haven't dabbled into his. I saw a couple clips of his, um, but I've always wanted to kind of do this, and I have a lot that I want to share, and I hope that it can provide some value to people who might feel the same. This is going to be a very vulnerable episode, and I'm okay with that. Um, if you do know me, I honestly think you should watch this because I'm going to be talking about my mentality and my thoughts and my feelings through different parts of my life over the past couple of years. So if you do know me, tap in. Um, Again, this is all from my perspective. So what you might have seen of me in these different scenarios could have been completely different. This is just how I perceive the events and my like I all I know is what I know, not anyone else. But if you do watch this and something related to you, or there was a moment that I spoke about that made you feel any type of way, please do reach out, text me, message me on Instagram, anything. I would love to talk about this stuff because I am trying to improve myself overall as a person. This podcast is going to be about why you can't also do it too. Um, I'm going to cover the intro of kind of who I am and what I've been feeling like these past 6 months, how I've kind of understood different addictions of my own, some goals, and stuff that is very true to me and stuff that I've always known about myself. Um, I really want to talk about action versus understanding, or understanding versus action, and then some ties to self sabotage and imposter syndrome. First of all, who am I? My name is Roderick Eason. I am a 20-year-old kid who likes to dream and believes in arts and creativity, and um, my goal is to have some sort of creative studio of my own. Not some sort of Sturkis is my dream, and it's been my dream since high school. And I've been doing everything else but working towards my dream, which seems very counterintuitive. So I'm going to try and send a message to myself along with others, and definitely going to clip some of these clips and post them on my TikTok to hopefully reach a bigger audience, my target audience, and begin building a community, because my whole philosophy is start before you know how. And I've been putting starting, not starting, but committing to starting and consistency for a couple years now. So there is this clip of Pharrell. I don't know where the actual vocals are from, but it's I saw an edit of him basically saying, write down all your fears, flaws, insecurities, and pressures all down on a paper, look at them, and know that they are all just distractions. And I've started to realize that everything that is not serving me or feeding me or bringing me closer to my goals um, is a distraction. And there are a lot of distractions. We live in a time of distractions. We live in a period where people are more distracted than ever. And specifically for me, my biggest asset, in my opinion, is my mind and my ability to connect the dots and see things that others don't necessarily see when it comes to branding and the psychology behind branding and what works, what doesn't, what really hits home, all that kind of stuff. So, based off just that, if my basically my whole dream is riding off of what's in here. It's not like I want to be a NBA player so I can practice my shooting and um, make a bunch of free throws and three pointers. Mine is all in here, and it comes from trying to translate it into visuals, audio, bringing it to reality and turning ideas into reality, which is now easier than ever, which can also lead us to being stuck, which is what happened to me for the past, I want to say 4 years. I'm very hard on myself, but I will say the past 4 years of my life for sure. I've known what I wanted to do and had a pretty clear vision of it, and I've never fully committed to it.
All right,
And
everybody look at the camera.
I don't know what. What really got me into wanting to create was being a fan of people like Tyler the Creator, Kanye West, um, that kind of Odd Future group. I'm not like a huge Odd Future fan. Like I don't know all the smaller artists. I definitely really like Earl Sweatshirt, Tyler, and honestly, I not crazy on Frank Ocean. Not that I don't like it. I just never really got into him like that. Pause. Definitely Kanye and Tyler Creator. But from that stemmed my appreciation for the samples and the production side of things. Um, so that led me to getting into like a lot of soul music because Kanye obviously, he chops his soul samples up to make his beats, especially all of his early stuff. So then I got into that because that music helped me feel relaxed. It helped me feel like I was listening to a new version of the song or the original version of the song. I fell in love with the idea that somebody heard this, Kanye, whoever the producer was, somebody heard this song and made it into something new. And I think that creation idea alone can save us as a society. So I've always had so much hope and optimism and just an overall optimistic look on life, um, because I was filled with so much hope and belief and courage from these people that I looked up to and listened to. And um, I mean, you are influenced by your surroundings, so whatever was being pumped into my ears was constant drive to do better and better. And Tyler's gone against the grain multiple times, and Kanye has gone against the grain multiple times, and that's what it takes to be great. And I've known that, and I always wanted to be great. And there's been so many times where I've wanted to do something, wanted to pursue something, and I've kind of just thought about it and built it in my head to the point where it was satisfying enough to quench that thirst of wanting to create something. So going back, bear with me, I might get a little sidetracked. I am pretty focused right now. I popped the Adderall, so this is very focused thoughts. I kind of know what I want to say, but bear with me. So going back to the Pharrell thing, my fears, flaws, insecurities, and pressures. I encourage you to do the same. Get a piece of paper, make 4 categories: your fears, your flaws, your insecurities, and the pressures. So, starting with my fears is not making money from what I want to do. Obviously, money makes the world go round. If you have more money, you can make more things. Obviously, I'm very, very aware that it does not take money, it only takes belief and passion and ideas to bring something to life. And I've known that and I've figured that out over time because I've never truly invested a ton of money into my passion. So everything I've made has always been made from just a basic salary. Second fear is not making my parents proud. My parents don't think the same way I do. I don't think a lot of people think the same way I do. And it's definitely held me back a lot, um, because I want whatever I do to make enough money to retire them. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to take them on trips. I want to be able to open their mind to new experiences and new possibilities and see the world with them. They've never been outside the US. That's a huge thing for me. Um, and I want to be able to do that for them. So that's a big thing that I'm scared of is whatever I choose to do won't make money. But again, realistically, it probably would because I'm so determined, I'm so focused. But I'm also not. I'm very distracted. And I'm constantly at tug of war with myself in my head of my vices and what truly fulfills me. And even when I do get a taste of what truly fulfills me, the vices are so strong that, and they've been there for so long that it pulls me back. And I'm finally here to cut the rope and just break the tension off and be in control of my whole life pretty much. That's the goal. The third fear of mine is finding out that I'm not unique, that I'm not special, that all these ideas in my head are basic ideas. That if I went up to Kanye and gave him some of my ideas, he'd be like, I thought about that 10 years ago. Now, it's a subconscious fear for sure. That is not a fear that I have in the front of my head, or is it a realistic fear? It's a fear that subconsciously bothers me, I would say. That when it does come time for me to make a real impact or a real thing, that I won't show up, that whatever I do isn't going to be good enough, blah, 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 or that it's not special enough, or that people don't like it. Um, that is a very subconscious thought in my head for sure. And that kind of ties into my fourth fear of finding out that I'm not that person that I believe that I am. Um, if I do commit, if I do go all in, and it doesn't work out, but again, that all of these things can be countered, and I think that fact that I know the counters is what affects me the most because you have to just be blind and delusional. You cannot think about that stuff because, like Pharrell says, they're all distractions. It's all just one big distraction from what you really are made to do and what you believe you can do. Really quick, I want to talk about what's playing in the background. This is the documentary of Tyler Creator's album Cherry Bomb, produced and created and filmed by Illegal Civ. Shout out Illegal Civ. Not a big shout out to you know who, but that's all right. Did some good stuff. Um, this is a 45 minutes documentary that came out in. Did you know that you could? One moment, one moment, one moment. Um, Came out 8 years ago. Wow. So it's been a while. Um, this came out in 2017, May 30th. There are hard copies of this that I do want to get my hands on. That's like my grail item is the Cherry Bomb CD on DVD. But this was my first look at Tyler and his background. So at this point, when I first watched this, I had never truly seen really anything from Odd Future, anything prior to Igor, because Igor was what I started listening to when I entered into Tyler's discography, or however you want to put it. I'm not like an OG Odd Future fan. Shout out Angelina. Um, Tried to put me on in middle school, and she said he was gay, so I didn't want to listen, and I never checked it out. But she fucked with Odd Future way back then when I was like in seventh grade, and she tried to show me and put me on to game. She showed me Oldie, I remember, in class, and I was just like, "Isn't this dude gay?" I was just like, "Nah." But I was also wasn't into music like that back then. I was still really young. I was still figuring stuff out, so can't hate it. But this was my first look at a true process. So in this documentary, they go song by song, showing tons of behind the scenes clips of what it actually takes to bring something like this to real life. And I had already fallen in love with the album at the time, so this was even bigger that I got to see the behind the scenes of it and it's true raw footage of Tyler, which you don't really get to see for most of these bigger celebrities until they come out with their own documentary. So this was something very, very impactful in my life, enough to the point where I have my first tattoo. Take a step back here. Hopefully, I don't get flagged for this. Is the cherry bomb face on my leg, and I got this on my 20th birthday a couple months ago in April. I guess a lot of months ago because it's December 2nd. And it was to signify that. So obviously, I do love the album, but the whole reason I got the tattoo was a reminder of this And what this showed me was that anything is possible pretty much, because you're like, God, how does he come up with these rhymes? Like the production, like what kind of variables go into everything? And you start wondering, can I do this? What does this even look like? I don't even know where to start. And seeing a breakdown and Tyler's solo interviews often of him explaining each song truly, truly, truly inspired me. I've probably watched this documentary over 100 times. I mean, it's only 45 minutes long, so it's nothing crazy, but I hate hydro flasks. I can't figure out how to drink out of them, no matter what I do. I always spill some on my shirt. But like I was saying, this documentary does mean a lot to me, enough to the point where I got a tattoo on my leg. And that tattoo was really to remind myself that I can do anything. So every night when I'm in the shower, I'm looking down, washing my dick, reminder that I am capable of doing anything, just like he did. He brought this to life and made a legendary album that really changed his career. Also, like this was the turning point from his older era, kind of got him on the map. He made a song with Kanye and Lil Wayne, Smuckers, and that was huge. So, tons of inspiration from this single video, enough for it to get tattooed on my body. Um, and I kind of wanted to just live his same life. So going to the flaws section, now it's hard to list your own flaws because, right, everyone thinks they're perfect. Um, but I know I'm not perfect, um, and I'm aware of it, and it's been very even more evident to me in these past 6 months of what some of my main flaws are. I think the first one is going to be my like communication with others when it comes to my tone and my attitude. I speak very condescending sometimes. I've come to realize, and my kind of mood is often misinterpreted just because maybe I guess I don't put enough emphasis on what I'm saying. Um, Kind of my ability to have like a deep connection with people. I feel like maybe I don't know if it's I don't open myself up enough, or I'm not asking them the right questions to establish that connection, or maybe I'm just overthinking it completely. But I feel like my ability to make serious connections with people to the point where like you know there's a difference between like acquaintances and friends and like people you actually fuck with. Like getting to that point, I feel like people just don't feel that way about me or towards me. And I know why, and it's very difficult to fix it from the inside looking out versus the outside looking in. And I mean, that goes back to a bunch of things that shaped me as I'm growing up. But the ability to change is very important. So that is what I'm working on currently. Um, some of my insecurities, I've always just had like a puffy face, I've never had like a super defined jawline. I mean, it also ties into my posture. I have pretty bad posture. I've always had like a super like curved back pause since I was like in elementary school. I remember we did this like show where we all had to wear these suits. Like we were, you know, the morph suits, and like we put glow sticks on them, and we did like a glow stick performance as a class. It was pretty lit, honestly. I need to find that video. Um, but I remember there's a very vivid memory of them suiting me up and being like, "Wow, your back is very arched," and I was like, "Interesting. I don't know what that means," but over time it developed to me having very very poor posture. That's about it as far as like real true insecurities. Oftentimes I don't really mind how I look. Like I choose the way I look. I'm not like super insecure about that. Like as far as my outfits and stuff and my what I wear. Um, but other than that, yeah, it would just be losing some face fat, which I'm working on right now. Again, being way too hard on myself all the time, but that is something I'm working on. Um, and then the pressures. So I would say the pressures are time, money, and my parents, and I guess their disappointment. Time. I mean, I feel like I've wasted a lot of time. As is. It's a little hot. Let me turn this down. So I'm always very self-conscious about time and what I'm doing, where I'm at. It's like, why am I not doing what I should be doing? So that's a pressure, honestly, myself. I put tons of pressure on myself. The money, it's not that I'm like, I need money right now, but the idea of making money from whatever I want to pursue, right? Um, and yeah, that's my four categories. I might make another video about this, honestly. All right, that was kind of my intro. Now we're gonna move into the past 6 months. So, in the past 6 months, my life trajectory has changed drastically. I left school. I'm a junior in college, and I left school to do online, to move back home, to start a marketing company with one of my best friends and my best friend now, but at the time didn't really know him too much. Just, very vague interaction. Um, Tristan and Keaton, and we left, or they had already left school. They weren't enrolled in anything. They never really went to real college. They went and did sales, and after high school, and then now we've reconnected at this point. So started in summer, came down, was working on the company ideas, tons, all the time. And then when it came time to go back to school, I had to break it to my parents saying that, hey, I want to stay here for the semester and try and commit to this and try and figure it out. I knew it's what I had to do, whether or not it worked or not. I had to prove to myself that I could commit to something and really put my all into it. And I believe that I did. And I have to accept that fact, even though the results weren't there in these first 6 months. Um, I have to like give myself credit that I did put in the work and I was making videos every day and I was trying to learn about new ways of marketing and distribution and whatnot. Um, Obviously, there are always times of unfocused work or unfocused time, but this was the first time I truly um, committed to putting out like multiple pieces of multiple circus, multiple anything, um, multiple videos. So it's not like I was like on my YouTube channel. My last video I posted was 3 months ago. The video I made of um, the jacket that I had made. But before that, it was a year ago, and it was a minute long video, and then a year also ago before that, when I was a freshman, so almost 2 years. Um, but I finally got to really see what I could do. And even though the numbers didn't show it, it felt right for me. It felt like I was doing my best. It felt like I was trying. I was putting effort into these videos. I was thinking them through. Everything was done with intention. I was coming up with real ideas. Um, and it didn't work out. We didn't gain that many followers from the campaign we did, but we did post every single day for, I want to say, over 180 days. Let me just double check um, the amount of posts on here. Oh, it doesn't show, but from June 20th to October 31st, I mean, we posted a video every day, and it wasn't just, hey guys, we're making a video today. It was in depth scripts, filming, editing, all being pumped out every single day. So 133 days to be exact, according to ChatGPT. So for 133 days, I posted a minute long video every single day. And in the first, what, like 100 something they weren't planned out. And maybe the first 100, what was it, what, 33? So actually, no, the first um, 75 videos, there was no plan. It was just me recording every day, then coming home, editing it, and posting it in the same day. And some days we wouldn't have videos, ideas, or we weren't doing anything that day, so we had to come up with stuff. And that was what I needed. I needed to be put in scenarios where I had timelines. I couldn't procrastinate. I couldn't keep putting stuff off. Um, and it was really good for me. So our whole company is based off of growing people's Instagram pages, and we use the system for distribution, kind of like clipping, that uh, disperses content across the platform and interacts with different niches and groups, and kind of helps you gain those followers that maybe wouldn't have seen you if just the algorithm was in charge. Um, but we ran into tons of issues. It's a very complex system, and it hasn't started working. And the way that the 60-day campaign that I did for Risk was based off of the abilities of the system. So I can't beat myself up also because of that, for that reason, because every single post was based off of this new way of marketing where people are coming to your page and you know that and you're aware of that and you can control what they see. Um, so it's very different than just trying to blow up normally. And it doesn't, and it wouldn't really make sense for people who just saw one of these videos scrolling in their algorithm. You need something to explain what it is and then send them to it. And that's kind of what the goal was with the Hive system. And it just, we just kept running into issues. Things kept coming up. It happens when you're starting a business. So after the 30 or the 60 days, I decided that, look, we need to regroup. We need to reevaluate what we're doing here and then continue posting on Risk, because it's not going to make sense if this is not what we're doing. So I want to talk about some things I've learned about myself over these past 6 months. So, first of all, the biggest thing is going to be letting go of things that don't matter, that don't really matter in the bigger picture of things, that don't serve you, that distract you. Um, your mind is the most powerful thing, and if I'm not in control of where my thoughts are going, then that's kind of a big issue, right? So there was many times, like, obviously I left school, and this was a pretty big semester for me and my friend group and where we were in our timelines of college. It's junior year, fall junior year. um it's kind of like the last fall almost, because senior year people start to graduate, people have to get jobs, I mean, it seems like that doesn't really happen. Based off the seniors that I've seen, they just have fun their senior year, but it could be like that. So the most opportune semester, I wasn't going to be there for, so I had to deal with that. There was a lot of doubt, saying, "What are you doing? Um, when you die, all you have is your memories. You want to make as many memories as possible. You want to do as much as possible and experience as much as possible." And um, but I also had to remind myself that when I was up there the prior semester, these thoughts of me not committing to what I need to commit to and do what I've always wanted to do was very, very strong. And it was loud in my head, and it kept me up at night, and it affected my decisions. It made me feel bad for going out and not focusing on stuff. And I realized now that if I wasn't going to focus, I should have just had as much fun as possible, been that degenerate, done, stayed up, which I did, but there was like always this guilt that was paired with it. Or it would come in waves of guilt, which stopped me from experiencing things to the fullest, because I was trying to hold myself back from that to try and gear myself in a different direction that I wasn't necessarily ready for. Um, Basically, leaving my whole life behind was kind of crazy. And yeah, taking the risk. That's kind of where the whole idea came from, and why it made the most sense to me was I had to just take a risk, and I had to believe in myself and my two partners that we would be able to do it, and that everyone was focused. And that was very hard because um, I had never done anything serious with these two people that um, you just have to trust their word that they're going to do their thing, and they have to trust yours. So it's very, very difficult. And there's a lot of um, turmoil between partners, just being able to trust each other. It has to come over time. It doesn't just happen right overnight. You have to say you're going to do something and then show up and do it. And um, that was something that I learned is very necessary for sure. It also kind of gave me a reality check because oftentimes my thought process was, if I graduated tomorrow, this is what I would want to be doing. I would want to be helping brands or people build their personal brand, or um, help people bring their ideas to life, or come up with ideas for people to help express themselves better. And yeah, I started practicing a lot of techniques for coming up with ideas and paying more attention to my ideas. It worked. Um, the whole 60-day campaign idea came from me walking down the beach with my headphones in, just thinking about how can we do this? How can we use the system, use the personal brand all in one? So I started doing a lot of stuff like that. Um, and it was good. It was hard getting everyone on time to film stuff because ours were filmed in locations with scripts. None of us had really made this much content before, so it was all very new to us. So stuff like that is hard, but it's part of the process, and I realize that now. I realize that it's okay to not know how to do something and to just try and figure it out to the best of your ability. I learned a lot about failure and like trying things and then not working, but still having appreciation for it because you did the work and you showed up. I want to finish talking about distractions. So, one of my biggest assets, as I said in the beginning, is my brain, right? My ideas come from my brain. My words come from the brain. It's not the brain necessarily, but the process of thinking. Work hard. Be somebody. Be someone more than what you see in the mirror. Don't let them judge you, because the mirror can't judge you. You judge what you see in the mirror. Huge quote. Shout out Lil Wayne for that. Um, you only answer to yourself. You're in charge of yourself, what you say, how you act, everything. So it's all on you. It's always on you. And accountability is something that I also had to learn. Um, if we didn't have a video for that day, it was on me. I had to come up with a video and help explain it in a way that they understood so they could film it with me, and it would be close enough to what the idea looked like in my head. So going back to distractions, my biggest distraction, I will say, um, I have two. The first one kind of feeds into the other one. They kind of feed into each other, but the first one is going to be weed, marijuana. That's um, I've been smoking weed consistently. I don't want to say every day because I know there's levels to this shit. I know there's people who are super mega stoners who wake up, smoke, and they're smoking throughout the day. I was never particularly like that. I was always in. It had to be after 5 o'clock at least for me to smoke. It was mostly at night. I wasn't like hitting wake and bakes and doing that often because those would make me kind of like feel derealization and disassociated, and I didn't want it to ruin my day and my interactions with people. Um, I did start doing some counseling in school last year. It is free at UCF, so I took advantage of it. I talked to my boy named Jeff. We had a couple meetings. Um, he introduced me to a lot of mindfulness techniques. I definitely think I should have applied it better and had more meetings with him before that ended. I don't know if I can still do it online, but I am working to talk to somebody currently that I met this guy at this record collection place, and he's super cool. And then we started talking. He's a therapist, and I was like, oh, I'd love to talk to somebody if you could help me out with that. So he's trying to help me out with that and get me to be able to talk to somebody, just because I have a lot of things that I need professional advice about, and I want to be able to understand myself, my thoughts, and me as a person a lot better. Um, so yes, I yeah. So yeah, I've been smoking weed for pretty much 2 years and around 4 months. I started really consistently freshman year of um, college, and ever since. Um, Now it didn't start off as bad. Um, it was just a fun thing to pass time. I had tons of friends who smoked with me, still do. Shout out y'all, love y'all. If we've ever said together, shout out you. Um, and then I kind of just never let go of it because I never really bought my own stuff when I was in high school because my parents. And then when I was away, finally, I had all this freedom. Like I could just have it laying on my table if I wanted to. Nobody was gonna say anything about it. Um, but going back to being distracted and my two biggest distractions, number one being weed, number two being Durkin the schmirk, and smoking honestly led to that a lot. Or me going out to have meaningless interactions with chicks in hopes of feeding that craving that I would get from either smoking or drinking or whatever. Right, so kind of heavy on that. And that really messed with a lot of my imbalances in my head, right? So I started feeling super disassociated. I this still happens to me, but sometimes I just don't know what to say to people, and that leads to my ability to make deep connections with people. So smoking definitely turned into a negative, or something that pulled me very, very far away from who I was, and it has pulled me far away from who I am. Um, but today is the first day not smoking. Again, I don't want to say it's my first day in 2 years not smoking, but it feels like that. And it feels like this is serious this time. I've wanted to quit before. It's always just been super convenient for me, so it's not like a hassle to go smoke or um, to be high or anything like that. So it was very easy all the time to just do it. Um, but I went through a phase where I used to get really anxious when I would smoke. I would have thoughts that are so loud that I couldn't scream back over them, if that makes any sense. Um, and lost control of my mind. So then that lose control of my bad habits. Um, but it's time to take a massive, massive break and truly figure out who I am. So it's like you spend so much time high that you kind of forget who you are almost. It's like, who are you when you're not intoxicated? Who are you when you haven't ripped the cart a million times and you're fucking geeked out of your mind? You know? Um, who are you just sober? And I've never been into drinking, so drinking was never an issue for me. So I kind of just went full force into the smoking. And I've realized that if my brain is my biggest asset, I want to be able to do as much as I can to optimize my thoughts, my feelings, my ideas, everything. So smoking took away from that for sure. And I never wanted to stop smoking because honestly, I am afraid that I'm never going to want to smoke again because I'm going to feel so good. And that feeling that I've been chasing of trying to find myself again is um is getting so huge at this point. So I had to put a stop to it. And always all these excuses would come up. Oh, I'll smoke after this. Oh, when I run out, and you gotta just stop. Um, it's only day two. It's gonna be very difficult. We just started a bulk. Like I said, I've been trying to get in the gym. Tristan's been training me. I just started a bulk, so our whole thing was, oh yeah, we need it for the bulk because you gotta have the munchies to help you eat a bunch of food for the bulk. And then it's like, okay, well now I gotta wait for the bulk to be done, blah blah blah. And it's like you're just putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. But now that I'm finally taking the gym seriously and no za, I mean I feel like my cognitive ability is just gonna be through the roof. Um, I'm just gonna be like unstoppable now, which is great. And if that's the if that's the outcome, I'm willing to sacrifice not smoking anymore, no matter how much joy it brings me, because I want the other thing so much more. Smoking definitely made me overthink a lot. It made me even harder on myself. I mean, it made the voice in my head so loud that it was dictating my thoughts, my actions, my interactions with people, all of that. So it was definitely got to the point where it was an unhealthy relationship with weed, and it became something that I would do by myself. It wasn't like a social thing anymore, stuff like that. So if you're struggling with that, just know you're hurt. It's very hard to stop. You just have to have a mindset shift. Um, I also got stuck in the understanding versus action zone where I understood what I needed to do, how I could do it, how things worked. I understood a lot, and that understanding was like, oh, okay, you get it. You know you get it. So you can just keep self-sabotaging, and then if it's meant to be, one day it'll just click. And I guess you could say that's what's happening now, but it doesn't feel like that. It's This is more of like an active decision. It's not like I was always looking for the one day where I was gonna be like, this is the day that everything stopped. I was always looking for like, I'm not gonna lie, like a good day to do it. Like, oh, I haven't smoked since Thanksgiving, or I haven't smoked since, I don't know, 11/11. November 11th. Like I was looking for a solid day to celebrate each year, which was just me avoiding it even more. But the understanding of things, it's kind of like how in Hope Core videos, like people who watch Hope Core or people who have tons of motivational stuff on their feed, you watch that and you get that same feeling of like motivation and ambition and hunger, but you're not actually doing it, so it's all fake. It's it's all like just here and it hasn't been brought to life yet, so there's no true thing. Like you can think, I mean, anyone can have any thought, like anyone, you can think of anything, but actually doing it is the real difference that I realized is what I needed to do. Um, Going back to the self sabotage is I would be in the gym for a month consistent, and then something would happen. I'd miss a day or I'd miss a couple days, and then I'd just throw it down the drain and not get back into it. No matter how good I was feeling, or I wouldn't smoke for a couple days, and I'd be feeling great, and then I would just be like, "Fuck it, I'm bored, I'm tired, whatever it is, let's just smoke," and then that's it. So, um, the thing with me was I always knew what I needed to do, and I feel like that's the hardest part is people trying to figure it out, which it is a hard part, but also the hard part is actually doing it. So me being able to do it is something that I had to bring to life, which is what I want to do going into honestly 2026 and for the rest of my life is doing it, understanding it first, and then doing it and taking action. Um, I always knew that if I wanted to stop smoking weed, all I had to do was stop buying it, get it out away from around me, maybe get like some fake something for the oral fixation. Like I know what to do, but I'm not doing it. So then it's just like then you just lie to yourself and say that you're going to do something and then you don't do it. So it all comes from within is what I've started to realize. And I've known, no, I've realized that from a while is my biggest issue is that I know that it comes from within, but I'm choosing not to. And I don't know why. That's also why I want to talk to somebody about it. But it's just like that whole idea of locking in, maybe like I was always waiting for this magical day where I was going to realize everything and my life would just change. But that doesn't happen. It happens over time and you have to build on it. It's not something that just instantly happens. Um, the self sabotage was crazy. Like I just found comfort in being mediocre and not like if you don't try to do anything, you can't fail. So I guess I was scared of failing for sure. But then I know that it's like I'm scared of failing, but I know that the only way to succeed is to fail. So then it's like then you're stuck in this like I guess paradox where you know what's right, but you're not doing it because you're comfortable or because whatever it is. And I'm just so tired of that. And I think that if I don't break the cycle, that like I think the biggest fear is I can totally see how I could just do this for the rest of my life and just be average and just not that smoking is being average, but smoking and not caring about what I care about and not following my passions and my dreams, all that is all very real. And people, I could see myself just like going down that route just because I can visualize it, not because that's what I want for myself. Just like this is what happens to people, and I understand it now. Um, the last thing I want to talk about that kind of ties this all together is imposter syndrome. So you can do it too, right? This is like Virgil's whole quote is that you can do it too. You can make something, you can bring your dreams to life. You can do it too. Like you are fully capable of doing that. The only thing stopping you is you. So it's like, well, I'm very smart. I can outsmart myself on both ends, right? In the good ways and the bad ways. And um, the biggest thing I think was this idea of imposter syndrome, where thinking that I'm not good enough. That was like one of my fears, right? Is realizing that I'm not anything special. And because if you never do anything, you never get that feedback, so you never know whether you're really like that or not. So it was for me, it's in my head or whatever, my subconscious. It's always been better to not do something because then you can't fail. So then, but then like my hopes and ambitions were so strong. It's like, we want this, we want to do this, I want to do this. Like speaking from my hopes and dreams and ambitions, like that's what I wanted. And then I didn't do it. And it just ate me alive for so long. But going back to imposter syndrome, understanding that you can do this, that you are that person, that I am the creative director that I believe that I am, and that I am the videographer that can make videos that make people feel something and that can make commercials and make campaigns for brands that actually do succeed. And I am capable of that, and we all are. But the whole idea of accepting that fact and believing in your abilities, the fear of being found out, like that people find out you're not actually as smart, or that you find out that you're not actually as smart or talented as other people in that space. um, Comparing yourself so harshly to others that are doing what you're doing and messing up, but they're already ahead of you because they're doing what they want to be doing. And then also setting unrealistically high standards for myself is a big thing that I definitely struggled with. And you just have to believe that you can be this person and that you are capable of doing these things that you know in your head that you can do, like you've literally done it in your head, but you're not doing it in real life. Like you know that you can. And I think this is a gift that I have been blessed with that most people don't, is that they don't dream big, or they don't want more out of their life, or they don't have any goals or ambitions or a bigger thing that they want to work towards in their life. And um, I get it, and I get both sides of it, and I know which side I want to be on, and that's the hardest part, I think. Another thing is believing that what you say has value, and that your ideas are valuable. It's like if I start working with a company and they're like, and I pitch them some ideas that I have of how they want to deliver or express um, their mission or their goal or whatever it is they're working towards, and they ask me if I give them ideas and they ask me, you think that would work? You have to be able to be like, hell yeah, I believe in my ideas to the fullest, to the max. No matter what, I wouldn't have presented it to you if I didn't believe in it fully. You have to be able to be and stand on your ideas and have reasoning for them. And if you do have reasoning for them, then that is your everything. And you have to believe in yourself, and stay true to yourself, and show that confidence that you can do this, that you are that person, that you may know more than someone, know more about marketing or branding or something about someone, about marketing a company or something, more than the people who already work there or who are already doing it, or the personal brand you're trying to expand. And this person has been working on their personal brand for the past 3 years and it hasn't been working. In the nicest way, you have to be able to be like, hey, what you're doing is not working. I think this would work. I know this would work. Let's do it. And having that confidence. So that's also going back to believing in yourself and your abilities and what you're capable of. And I do, which was always the issue, is like I do believe in my abilities, because that's the whole reason I left school, was because I believed that I can do this and this is what I wanted to do. But then, like, there's a lot more that comes with it, more believing, more delusion, that you have to just ride and you have to just trust it. And that also comes with letting go of stuff, like letting go of the doubt, the fear, all of that. It's all one big thing. And that's the thing. Like, I've always understood these concepts. I've always understood them, and how they apply to myself. And it's like, I guess I never could accept the fact that it was just that easy. That all I had to do was just trust myself and trust my beliefs and work hard and work on it every day, and be focused. Um, but that truly is the answer, you know? Shout out Godspeed. Put me on hella music as well. All the music in this video I've listened to, or already was listening to. Um, Shout out Godspeed. Shout out Lil Civ. So basically, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If you guys have watched this far, shout out you. I hope something I said was kind of relatable, and maybe helped you think about your own personal goals and aspirations. This is my first time doing this, so I don't know how well spoken I was and how well you could follow along, but I do believe I did pretty good, because I could pause and continue. So I could pause, say something, pause, recollect my thoughts, continue. Kind of what you would do if you were just editing it, but I'm just editing it live. So I'm not even going to go back and watch this. I'm just going to post it because I believe that everything I said was good, clean. I didn't like say anything crazy, personal. Well, I did honestly, but nothing that I don't feel like I could share with, I guess, everyone in the entire world. So, thank you guys for watching. This probably won't be the last time I do this. I should be wearing a Sturkis shirt right now. Shout out Sturkis Studios. Shout out Sturkis. Shout out everything Sturkis. Make more. Shout out the shit show. Shout out everything. Sturkis skates, Sturkis shots. It's all coming. Um, but yeah, so basically, believe in yourself. Let go of things that don't matter. write down everything that's stopping you, all the distractions, look at them, crumple it up, and throw it away. They're not real. Set goals for yourself. Stay true to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Love yourself before you love anyone else. Talk to somebody if you need help. Could be a friend, a family member. Things in your head aren't real. Words spoken out loud are real. You know what I'm saying? Your mind can make up a bunch of different reasons, excuses, things for all kinds of stuff. But you have to learn how to control your mind before you can control your life. Because if you're in control of what's up here, this controls everything that comes out, right? So it's all one. Um, I'll never give up on Sturkis at all. Um, it's everything I've ever wanted to do and more. Um, and I hope I make some cool shit that people can enjoy. That was always my goal with Sturkis. It's the whole reason I named it Sturkis. Sturkis means poop in Latin, so shit pretty much. And I just wanted to make shit. And it's a cool name and it fits. And one day I hope that circus can be a universal term to help people explain that whatever they made doesn't have to have a title. Like, because a lot of times people name things untitled. I kind of want to replace untitled with Sturkis. So anything can be Sturkis. The whole point of Sturkis is to make more. So if you're making something that is Sturkis, it's creativity, it's whatever. Um, if you understand something, don't just understand it. Take action. Don't self sabotage, which is so easily said than done. Um, and don't submit to the imposter syndrome. If you think you can do something, there's a reason you think that. If you didn't think you could do it, you wouldn't think that. And don't let the imposter syndrome suppress that thought that you can do it. Um, and yeah, I'm excited for 2026 to see where it takes me. I don't know what's next, and I'm not too worried about it. Again, believe in myself and my own abilities. Um, got kind of vulnerable on here for sure. Um, but if you're watching this on TikTok, go check out the Instagrams and the YouTube. I want to start posting whatever my expression is because that's all Sturkis is and that's what I made it. I made it truly for myself as a place where I can express myself in multiple formats, whether it's audio, video, um, writing, anything. I want it to be a conglomeration of art and creativity and self expression. So if that's something you fuck with, follow, subscribe, trying to build a community out here. So yeah, make more, love yourself, believe in yourself, and yeah. Wow, that was a lot.